Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena. It's been a while, chat. I've been taking a little bit break from Magic, and you may have noticed the channel's gone a little bit quiet. I don't know. I think Magic's had a really rough year, and it's been rough recording for it for quite a while, I would say. Well, recording without me at some point during the recording getting amazingly salty and negative about it. I decided to take a break and come back, hopefully with fresh perspective. You know, standard has changed, and it sounds like it's changed for the better. And what better day to return to Magic Arena than the Friday Night Magic event Historic Brawl, my favourite format that should be permanent on Arena, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because I'm trying to take a break from ranting about the negatives of this client. Historic Brawl has all of these wonderful little bans in it. It does not have Omnath ban. That's only for standard Brawl. They're going to be testing out Historic Brawl for Omnath, which I think is mostly fair. I don't know. I've got my own ban list. I think I do a better job than they do of banning, because I'm pretty sure anyone in charge of Historic Brawl and Brawl doesn't actually play the format. But, you know, there's definitely some reasonable bans in here anyway. Today we're going to be playing a deck that I guess some of you may not like, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of a twist on the archetype. So we're going to be playing around with a classic burn list. So this is something that I've played against viewers infrequently, mostly because I feel like it's a miserable experience for anyone trying to pull off a late game combo, because obviously classic burn, it's not going to be allowing you to get to the late game, or it's going to be losing. I've had decent win rates with this deck, actually. I don't recall a time when I've lost with it, to be completely honest. I'm sure I have, but it must have been few and far between. But yeah, it's going to be built around Torbran, Thane of Red Fell, 4 mana 2/4. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead. So usually what this is, when you see it on the other side of the battlefield, is mono red from standard or historic just converted over into Brawl, and every second to fourth copy of a card is just replaced by a slightly downgraded version. We're not really going to be doing that with this deck. We're actually going to be trying to go for more of a burn strategy, so the instants and sorceries kind of based burn, and Torbran's going to help us with that. So for example, I could do a stomp with Bone Crusher Giant. Normally it would deal 2 damage. With Torbran out, it's going to deal 4. We have lots of enchantments as well that really help us out and keep us going into the late game as well. Things like Roiling Vortex, a 2 mana enchantment. So at the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals 1 damage to the person who's currently on their turn, and if Torbran's in play, it deals 1 to us and 3 to our opponent, so it's a lightning bolt every single turn. We can also prevent our opponent from gaining life as well for 1 red mana, which is pretty cool. It also shuts off a number of things as well, including Fires of Invention, which is not a banned card in Brawl. I think it's relatively fair, to be honest, except for the way that it works with commander taxes. But, you know, I don't think it's ban-worthy anyway. But yeah, lots of things that care about kind of burn spells and, you know, dealing quick damage over time. Things like Thermo Alchemist from Jumpstart. 2 mana 0/3 with Defender, deals 1 damage to each opponent, and then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you get to untap it. So with the Torbran in play, this is a lightning bolt, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, which is likely to be an upgraded lightning bolt with Torbran out, if we're doing something like Royal Eruption, it's 5 damage for 2 mana, for example, it's going to untap our Thermo Alchemist and allow us to do another lightning bolt effect. So these are going to be quick, fast games, hopefully, in any particular direction. Either we lose or they lose, focusing more on instants and sorceries and the creatures that care about them, like Magmatic Channeler from Zendikar. 2 mana 1/3, as long as there are 4 or more instants and sorceries in your graveyard, it gets +3, +1, so it's a 4/4 for 2 mana. Relatively easy. And you can discard a card as well, so if we hit a land off the top and we are flooding out, essentially we can exile the top 2 cards of a library, pick a better card, and then cast that instead, which is going to be pretty awesome. Other things to note, we do have cards like Sin Prodder. I think this card can carry a game. This is like the Phyrexian Arena for red, in a nutshell. 3 mana 3/2 with Menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, you reveal the top card of your library. Any opponent may have you put that card into your graveyard. If a player does, Synprodder deals damage to that player equal to the card's converted mana cost. Otherwise, you put that card in your hand. So you're going to be able to draw extra cards with this, or you're going to be able to use those cards as burn. Either way, you kind of just really win off of this card. And this is one of the ways that we can go into the late game as well, making sure we have that kind of card advantage. There are a few other card advantage cards in here as well, but off the top of my head, I can't remember them because I built them ages ago. I guess Magmatic Channeler is kind of one of those cards. You got Young Pyromancer as well. Going to make some elementals to swing through. Once we make all those 1/1s, we have things like Castle Embereth to give them a little bit of a pump to finish off the last points of damage. Things like Lightning Phoenix as well, a 3-mana 2/2 with flying and haste. Can't block, however, at the beginning of your end step. If an opponent was dealt 3 or more damage, which if they're not, we're losing, you may pay red. If you do, you can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield, so it's a recurrable threat that will constantly annoy your opponent. This is a very low to the ground kind of burn spell. It's not using the usual cards that you would see in a Torbran list. Is the typical Torbran list just better than this one? Probably, but this is one of the more favorable ways for me personally to play mono red, so it's what we're going to be doing. So if you do enjoy the content and you do want to see more Historic Brawl, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It lets me know what kind of content you're interested in and helps out the channel a great deal. Greatly appreciate it, especially after a long break. YouTube doesn't like people taking breaks, but I decided, screw that, let's just do it. So yeah, let's get into the Historic Brawl queue and see what we can do with this list. Let's go. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Ooh, Vadrock, Apex of Thunder, eh? And this hand is sort of okay. It's a bit iffy. It's got all our X spells in it. I think you want to take the Mull. The only reason I'd keep this hand is because Young Pyromancer is really good, and Lightning Felix is a recurable threat. I don't know if we can keep it off the strength of just that, though, because our opponent is in red, so they can have burn spells and counter spells in blue. So Young Pyromancer, if it gets countered, we're going to have a miserable failure of a time. So I'll take the free Mull on this one. And this one looks so much better. Oh my god. All the 2-drops, 2 lands to cast them. Thermo Alchemist is a recurable burn spell, flame spell, as a removal for something like Vadrock, for example. Yeah, absolutely amazing. So Mountain go. So our opponent is playing Vadrock, Apex of Thunder, aka Rodan, Titan of Winged Fury. Jeskai colors for a 3/3. Our opponent plays probably a Shock. We could bait it out of them, or I could just play the Thermal Alchemist. I'm trying to think if there's a blue counterspell that gets rid of creatures. I don't think there is. Spell Pierce is probably the only real one. So, assuming that they've got a burn spell here, we'll go with the 0/3. It's going to be a Spectral Sailor, something for them to mutate onto with Vadrock. But yes, flying first strike with a mutate for 4. When this creature mutates, you may cast target non-creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. So our opponent has just gained a little bit of life. We can't really allow that. It's also a card draw spell. Again, can't really allow that. So I'm probably going to have to use my Flame Spill on it, which is still a pretty good card. A little bit of lag there, unfortunately. So before they can respond with dive downs and things like that, I'm going to deal 4. Excess is dealt to our opponent. And we even untap our Alchemist as well for a little bit of extra damage. So undone a little bit of that life gain there, which is pretty cool. And I guess we just hope for a land at this point so we can play Torbran. Scorching Dragonfire for our opponent is unfortunate for us, of course. Ooh, Roiling Vortex, though, is a good card. Do we get that down now? So it's 1 damage constantly, and we can stop our opponent gaining life next turn with the excess mana. Or I could go for Robber of the Rich, which is 2 mana, and it takes a card from them. It's not going to let us take lands, which is kind of what we really need here, but... If we get down Roiling Vortex and we draw a land, though, we can Lightning Bolt our opponent with that. So we kind of get near guaranteed Torbran value. It's probably unlikely to be guaranteed Torbran value, mind you, but... Alright, there's Destroyer. So we take 1 from the Vortex. We hope to draw a land. We did not. Yeah, this is where things get a little bit iffy. Because now we can't really deal with Destroyer. We haven't drawn our land. I guess we're going to have to go with the Channeler. If we don't draw a land, we'll have to use Channeler to find it. Only got 1 instant in the yard, and we need 3, 4. Uh-oh. That would be a 5 fairy. Opponent draws. And swings as well. Okay. And then hopefully they don't untap into 2 mana to kill my Channeler. That would be really sad and loses the game on the spot most likely. It's a tap land. Oh, magic gods. Oh, magic gods. You do hate me, don't you? Alright, well, I need that 4th land. I think we're too far behind now to win this game, to be completely honest. I think this is just an excessive amount of time to not be able to do what we want to do. I'll go with the Robber of the Rich. And I dare say we're going to have to throw it all at Teferi. Hit a land for them.
Don't make another move.
This does open up Royal Eruption as an option to kill Teferi next turn, because they can't mine us, so they can't get that value. They can only tick up into the Royal Eruption.
Skip to the good part.
The real issue now is that they can do their Vadrock onto Destroyer, which will get them a Feather token and allow them to cast Staggering Insight or Dragonfire. Either one of those is really good. Yep. I can pay the 1 on the Roiling Vortex to stop them gaining life if it comes up. Which it looks like it does. So I guess at least we got that for us. Ooh, take 5. Oh, I forgot that was a thing. I'm sure our opponent did too. By the way, can't gain life. They do get to draw a card though, and Teferi opens up guaranteed counterspell, let's be honest. Take 1. Volcanic Fallout. So, this is sorcery speed. I could send it all at Teferi, and if they've got removal, I can finish it off with the Royal Eruption. Or I could go for the Royal Eruption now so that I can hit my opponent in the face. Flash shenanigans as well are a concern. They could have Shark Typhoon, which would be unfortunate. This is really awkward. If we had a 5th land, I might have gone for like Torbran so we could hold up in the Roiling Vortex, which we have to do now. We're being taxed by Destroyer. I think I'm going to go to combat first. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think we can be punished in either direction. Ooh, negate. That's a good one. Alright, Teferi down.
I'll have a better plan next time.
And I'm just going to have to assume they've got a counter spell here. Can always cast with Direfleet Daredevil to the Scorching Dragonfire. That's an option later, but it won't do anything right now. I guess we'll go with Chandra's Magmut as a pinger. And let that go. And yeah, I've basically got a 1-mana tax here with the Roiling Vortex, so Take them down to 12. Surprisingly close game to say that we were mana screwed for an unfortunate amount of time. I guess they've learned their lesson though with their Vadrock. Alright, can't gain life. Vortex is definitely carrying this game. If it weren't for Vortex, we would have lost. So they get to draw a card. If they don't play anything, they're going to be discarding. They've got a Shock. And a Copy spell in hand, most likely. Not going to go for that, though. I'm assuming that's why it held priority. Okay, so Magma can deal 1 damage by the ping if we want to play it safe, or it can get in for 2. They could make a 3/3 Shark Typhoon token, though, if they did have it. Shocks. Wow. For the Cub Warden to make some life linkers. Okay. The life linkers aren't relevant, though, because we can Roiling Vortex to make them just 1/1s. They can cast a spell here, but if they do, they take 5. And go for the Scorching Dragonfire. Makes the tokens. Goes for the cast and takes 5. You are crazy. I dare say if we draw a land, we win, right? Because this deals to players. Oh, they do have 2 mana open, but we took the negate from them. We go to 5. We got the Ruins. So... should we go for it? Three damage to you. Gotta have the counterspell. They go to 2, and Roiling Vortex is going to finish it off with the Magmut trigger. Yeah, is there any reason for me not to just go for the Fallout here? It would finish them if they countered. They would have to upkeep, gain life. Which I'm not sure if they can do that. This is instant speed, so I suppose I can do it on their turn. Trigger on the stack, gain life or die. Or fling. I suppose you... well, actually, no, you can't fling, because I can fall out in response. They'd have to have fling plus counterspell. My god, do they have it? What a great game. This is making me very happy to have come back to play today. Oh my god, we won. Wow. Roiling Vortex. I think our opponent punted like crazy, though, with the shock trigger, because this isn't a May, right? Whenever a creature mutates, you may cast a non-creature spell. So yeah, they took 10 damage from Roiling Vortex willingly. They took nearly half their life total off willingly with the shocks and the Dragonfires there, just to take a Channeler off the board. I mean, Channeler is card advantage. It does allow us to find burn, but I don't know if it would have found us 5 points of burn. It was definitely winnable for our opponent. But damn, am I happy that they didn't win, because I think it was just... wow, I think we were the underdog there, to be completely honest. And we managed to get there just in time. Amazing. Alright, let's go for the next game. Alright then, we're in, and we are on the draw with a 3-lander and some decent creatures. The only issue with this hand is that it doesn't have any burn, and it's gonna need them for our opponent's commander. And I think that means I've got to mull it. These are some really powerful cards. We could take the risk that we just find them later. We can go turn 1 Valakut's Awakening, turn 2 Young Peasy or something like that. By that point, maybe we've drawn something to kill Kinnan and all the mana dorks that come with it. I'd much rather kind of just... Let's do it. Let's do it. We have a top deck as well. There's so much potential for this hand, but so many ways it could go wrong. I think you probably mull, in complete honesty, but I'm going to allow RNGesus to take the wheel here. Electro Dominance is technically a burn spell. So Kinnan Bonder Prodigy is our opponent's commander. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. I hear a lot of complaints about this commander. It's a 2-mana 2/2. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. And then for 7 mana, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your library and put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield, the rest on the bottom of your library, in a random order. So there's a lot of mana dorks that come out with our opponent's commander. I think we're going to go with Young Pyromancer here. Reason being is that I'm going to draw a burn spell next turn, so I want to be making those elementals, right? Right, Arena? 2 damage burn spell? Woof. Our opponent didn't play a mana dork there, which is very unlike Kinnan. Very unlike Kinnan, indeed. I actually think I should have played one of my tap lands, my Shatterskull Smashing, to be completely honest. Let's go with Kiln Fiend, though. And we will swing for 2. There's no way in hell they block. So let's just get that free damage in. If they did block, they'd be doing us a favor, in all honesty. Garenbrig and Banner. Banner produces 2 mana of whatever color they choose right now. 2 blue mana. Okay. And they can game for 3, because I can't really block. Unless they think that I have a way of killing it, which logic would dictate I would have already done it by now. Cinderclasm. That's a pretty good card. Pretty good card indeed. Okay. You don't have haste, do you? I can make Kinnan a coward. They're holding open counter magic. That's what the double blue is. That's why they pick blue. Normally I would imagine you'd pick green. So let's swing. Let's see what they want to do. So I can Cinderclasm as well, if I really wanted to. But I don't. I just want to go with a Young Pyromancer here. We didn't draw the burn we were really hoping for, but we are still adding to the board. And I'm going to go with... I've got tapped. We're now in scary territory for Kinnan. We haven't answered Kinnan. They've got a Mana Rock in play that is getting accelerated. They can play a big boy now. All of those things do not bode well for us. Polacca Worm gains 7 life against the burn deck. How unfortunate. Okay. Well, we can do 3 damage to Kinnan and then put a 3-drop in play. I guess that's probably what we have to do, and we'll do it while they've got 1 blue mana open. Could have, like, dive downs, but I don't usually see that kind of thing. So, a little bit of pumping. And let's get the Spitfire into play, I suppose. Yeah, Polacca Worm's a pretty big deal, in all honesty. But we might be able to push through it. God, you would have to do this, wouldn't you? I bet it's Thragtusk next. Thragtusk would be very unfortunate, gaining 5 life when it enters. I used to love playing with Polacca Worm. I think it's a little bit outclassed with today's fire design style, but you know, is what it is. Yeah, next turn I guess I'm just going to be throwing down Torbran, unless I'm too afraid of Kinnan coming down. And in which case, might have to do a little bit different. The real issue now is that this is damage to each creature. And that's not really favouring us all that much. So there is Kinnan. So if I went with Torbran, it would kill my Pyromancer and my token. Well, both my Pyromancers and my token. But it would give me... Is this each player as well? Each creature. It would kill Kinnan. And leave me with a Spitfire attacker, which I'm kind of interested in. I think you've just got to go for it. I think we have to really, really push our opponent here. So, a little bit unfortunate on that situation, but then we get to Lightning Bolt our opponent. We just lose if Kinnan gets to activate. All sorts of nasty stuff can come along. Ulamogs, Koglers, Nyx Bloom Ancients for 9 million other activations. We need some card advantage. Oh, there's also Ugin the Spirit Dragon to -4 and win the game. Alright, ban this card. Alright, I think I'm just going to move on to the next one. There's no way we can win now. Alright, we're in, and we're up against David Arena, the founder of Magic Arena. Wow. What an honor. This hand, it needs all burn. Our opponent's playing Bruvac, which most likely means it's a Persistent Petitioners deck, and we have no burn for all the Petitioners. We kind of just win if we add to the board while killing Petitioners, and this hand doesn't really do that. It does have a Sin Prodder, which allows us to draw lots of cards or burn our opponent. And Flame of Keld, though. What a weird hand. Should we keep it? Let's see what happens. It's a really bad hand, though. But I really like the idea of Sin Prodder and Flame of Keld here. I think we can make those work. Collateral damage. Okay. So, land Petitioners, most likely. Opponent's playing Bruvac, a Human Advisor. If an opponent would mill one or more cards, they mill twice that many cards instead. So, their entire deck is just Persistent Petitioners. And that's fun for some. I'm going to go with the Channeler. Channeler allows me to look at better cards and find burn for the Petitioners. And there's Bruvac. Alright, so we want to answer Bruvac if we can. We've only got a 3 damage burn here. And yeah, let's kind of look for it. We do kind of have cards that help with that. Let's discard Robber of the Rich. Well, we get Spitfire. How many do you need for this? 4? Good lord. Alright, well, in that case, gotta kill the Petitioners. Pass the turn. Not looking good. They don't have a land. Oh wow, we wasted our mana there big time. Alright, Runaway Steamkin. Land, and I'm considering going for Flame of Keld here. I think we do it. Let's discard Sin Prodder and the Mountain. I think we need better cards. We need to be able to kill Bruvac. We can draw those cards for the Chapter 3 on Flame of Keld. Opponent's got an activation here of 24 cards. Well, we got a land drop. Torbran's coming down. Thermo Alchemist as well. These are not the cards I was looking for. Well, Immolation Shaman. Thermo Alchemist. Not really a good trade with Steamkin attacks, so let's get down Torbran. Immolation Shaman deals 3 damage to our opponent when they activate their Brewvac. Oh, they're Petitioners, technically. They're not going to go for it, though. Another Petitioners. And another Petitioners. Okay. So what we want to see now off the top is Cinderclasm. Magmut. Yeah, that kind of sucks. +3/+3 and Menace. Alright, so this is 5 damage. Yeah. I mean, we're swinging. Take 3. Oh, 5, sorry. Yeah, get swinging. If they activate, they take another 5. These attackers are doing a lot of damage right now. It's 1+2/+2. So Shaman swinging for 5. All of these are dealing 5. Take 5. Down to 16 cards. We even get a Lightning Phoenix as well, which means we've got lethal next turn. If our opponent... Oh, opponent can actually get us now. Yeah. Ah, that's a shame. Actually, no. Do they... No, they should be fine. They activate, they take 3. Yeah, we were 2 points short. Actually, no. No. Upkeep, stop. Upkeep, stop. We actually win. I almost lost. Thermo Alchemist and Magma are lethal. Either one of them is lethal. Opponent activates Petitioners. That's also lethal. Goes out on their own terms. Oh, almost. Okay. Petitioners down. Now that was a game. Alright. I'm very happy. This is a joyous occasion for Magic the Gathering. Absolutely fantastic. I think we've got time for one more game. Alright, we're in, and we're against 5 Fairy. This hand... It's not great. It's got Roiling Vortex, which has already carried us like crazy. But we can probably do better. This is... I'd argue kind of better. Got Sin Prodder, which will probably die or get counterspelled, but if it doesn't, then it's a lot of card advantage, and we kind of need that against our opponent. They're playing 5 Fairy. 5 mana, 4 loyalty. Tick up to draw a card and untap lands. The -3 allows you to tuck a permanent, 3rd from the top into your deck, and then the -8 wins you the game slowly and painfully. We are going to go for... Why didn't this do Planeswalkers? That's upsetting. 2 damage to a creature. I guess we're going to get down the most powerful thing, because I don't expect they're actually going to be able to activate Immolation Shaman. I guess they could play like Fabled Passage and Crack or something like that, but that's unlikely. I guess cycling lands out of your hand is also a thing, but again, probably not likely. Alright, let's get in for 2. I want to see if they've got something like a Seal Away. Something to tap out here that allows me to play down my Sin Prodder. Which I think I'm going to have to play. Nothing else really makes all that much sense to play, to be honest. And they need literally like Essence Scatter or Juari's Disruption. There's not a lot of 2-mana counterspells that deal with creatures. So I'm going to take the chance that Sin Prodder can actually do a thing. Got Quench. Okay. Well, took the risk. Didn't pay off. Opponent plays a blue spell. Passes the turn. And fun's over, chat. Ooh, it's not a blue land. Okay. Okay. Well, let's go for Torbran. I want to see if I can get him for 4 points with Creator Maker. Could have a Brazen Borrower, or Unsummon effect anyway for Torbran. We would be only dealing 2 here, but we actually got in for 4. Now we just need to dodge white land into Shatter the Sky or Wrath of God. Cycles neutralize. Looking for that blue land, most likely. Or for the extra white. They could be mana screwed in all kinds of ways. Let's hope that they are. A mana screwed control player is a good control player. Alright, so we don't really want to be playing any further into this board state right now. So I'll just hit them for 8. I'm going to try and get them down low enough that Banefire is the win. We've got a 4 damage Bone Crusher Giant here, which we could point at 5 Fairy if they go for the land and tuck. Unsure on that one. Could have Settle the Wreckage open now as well. Let's try and hit them for 4. If we hit them for 4 here, then Settle the Wreckage isn't an option. They go to 8. Scorching Dragonfire is not what I'm looking for. So I'm not going to play Torbran into a settle here. I'm going to just go with Crater Maker. They'll set up a Banefire for me, which is kind of nice if they do have it. Angel of Grace. Let's kill Angel of Grace and exile it so they can't gain their life back. Alright, well. We take them to 4. They can't go any lower because of the Angel of Grace. Damage will reduce your life total to 1. Or less than 1 is reduced to 1. I suppose we could go with the Immolation Shaman, though, just to have an extra creature on board. It means that they need a lot more answers. Although we could just play Bone Crusher Giant, Shatter the Sky, draw as a card. If we drew a land, Banefire is uncounterable, which is exactly why we need that to be. Teferi won't do it. Labyrinth won't do it. Yeah, we just want to land at this point. Could see them do something like Timely Reinforcements. I'm sure that's in their deck, but it's sorcery speed, so they're going to have to figure that one out. And we can probably work our way through that. Finale X4. And, well, Volcanic Fallout will do it all on its own. And we have Banefire as well to swing over the top now that they're tapped out. Fantastic. Alright, well that is gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I've honestly had a barrel of laughs. It's been thoroughly enjoyable, so I'm glad to be back playing some more Arena. I just hope one day they make Historic Brawl permanent so we can do this fairly frequently. You know, I would love to make Historic Brawl kind of a consistent part of the channel anyway, because I know you guys enjoy it quite a lot, and I absolutely love playing it as well. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure anyway. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you agree with the pleasure that you've had. If you have pleasured yourself off of this video in a consensual, nice way, then yeah, hit that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, I'm going to end it off here and move on to the next pleasurable deck, hopefully. Take care, guys. Have a good night.